Problem-based learning evolved from medical education. Medical faculty introduced problem-based learning as both a way to structure an entire curriculum and as a way to promote lifelong learning in a professional practice. In the medical field, problem-based learning taught learners the skills needed to come up with a mental list of possible causes for a medical problem presented by a patient. Learners were taught ways to inquire about the problem, and they were taught how to evaluate each possible cause to make diagnostic and treatment decisions. Essentially, an expert in the medical field shares their thinking processes with trainees in order to help them learn how to think like a doctor. In problem-based learning, students do research and apply new knowledge and skills to develop a viable solution to a defined problem. Critical to the success of the approach is the selection of ill-structured problems. The teacher guides the learning process and conducts a thorough debriefing at the conclusion of the learning experience. The process starts when the teacher presents their learners with a problem. The learners will then generate a list of possible causes for the problem, which they will use as a guide for self-directed study. Once the learners have had time to conduct their inquiry into the possible causes of the problem, the learners will reconvene and use their new knowledge to identify a solution to the problem. If there are learning objectives, the learners should be given a copy of the objectives and then asked how they can include them in their plan for solving the problem. After learners have completed their project, the teacher initiates the final step by asking, "What new facts or concepts have we learned while solving this problem?" The teacher should also ask the learners to think about how working with this problem extended their knowledge of the critical concepts of the course. The intent is to get the learners to recognize, verbalize, review, and integrate what has been learned. If teaching with problem-based learning were as simple as presenting the learners with a problem, and students could be relied upon to work consistently at a high level of cognitive self-monitoring and self-regulation, many teachers would be taking early retirement. The reality is that learners who are new to problem-based learning require significant instructional scaffolding to support the development of problem-solving skills, self-directed learning skills, and collaboration skills to a level of self-sufficiency where the scaffolds can be removed. Problem-based learning is a learner-centered approach. Students engage with a problem with whatever their current knowledge affords. Inherent in the design of problem-based learning is a public articulation by the learners of what they know. Learners should also note what they need to learn about in order to solve the problem. Individuals accept responsibility for seeking relevant information and bringing that back to the group to help inform the development of a viable solution. The problem simulations used in problem-based learning must be ill-structured. A critical skill developed through problem-based learning is the ability to identify the problem and set parameters on the development of a solution. During self-directed study, students should be able to access information from all the disciplines that might be related to resolving a particular problem, just as people in the real world must use information from diverse sources in their work. Multiple perspectives lead to a more thorough understanding of the issues and the development of a more robust solution. Collaboration is essential. In the world after school, most learners will find themselves in jobs where they need to share information and work productively with others. And problem-based learning provides a format for the development of these skills. What students learn during their self-directed learning must be applied back to the problem with reanalysis and resolution. The point of self-directed research is for individuals to collect information that will inform the group's decision-making process. Given that problem-based learning is a very engaging and motivating form of experiential learning, learners are often very close to the immediate details of the problem and to the proposed solution. The purpose of the post-experience debriefing process is to consolidate the learning and ensure that the experience has been reflected upon. Advise learners to examine all facets of the problem-based learning process to better understand what they know, what they learned, and how they performed. Self and peer assessment should be carried out at the completion of each problem and at the end of each curricular unit. This activity reinforces the self-reflective nature of learning and sharpens a range of thinking skills. The goals of problem-based learning are both knowledge-based and process-based. Students need to be assessed on both dimensions at regular intervals to ensure that they are benefiting as intended from the problem-based learning approach. Students are responsible for the content in the curriculum that they have covered through engagement with problems. They need to be able to recognize and articulate what they know and what they have learned. Problem-based learning should be the pedagogical base in the curriculum. And the activities that are carried out in problem-based learning must be those valued in the real world.